So what would be your one-sentence summary for the movie?
In the movie, it's pretty much about two boys' friendship that's tested in a time of crisis.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So what are some major plots in A Separate Piece?
In the beginning, Jean's kind of jealous of Finney because Finney's athletic and everybody notices him and everything, and all Jean has is his smarts. And someday, Jean thinks that Finney's sabotaging him, but the only thing that he has is grades. So he decides one day that in spite of the moment, Jean just is so filled up with anger that he decides to knock Finney out of a tree. Later on in the movie, Gene's held by trial by some of his friends trying to accuse him of pushing Finney out of the tree. And Finney gets so angered and he finally realizes that Gene did push him out of the tree that he storms out of the room and he started walking down the stairs and he fell. And then he went to the doctors and he ended up breaking his bone again. And the doctor set his bone in and it ended up killing him.
So what do you think are some techniques that the director and scriptwriters have used to convey a separate piece?
Well, throughout the whole story is told as a flashback, and if you haven't seen it, it's Jean is telling the story 15 years from when it took place, and I think they use this to give like a new perspective and a wiser outlook on the whole situation, and like after he's had time to reflect on the things that have happened, and he shows all the lessons he learned from it.
Okay, that's interesting. So what's the tone of A Separate Piece?
The tone in the movie is really reflective, and because of this, it's often regretful of the things that happen.
Okay, moving on, what is the mood?
The mood is there's a lot of envy between Finn and Jean, and there's also a lot of fear and loneliness underlying the plot.
Yeah, and near the end, there also seems to be a lot of suspense.
Yeah.
So what does that first quote show there?
That quote shows the mood and how it's really fearful, especially at the beginning of the story.
So this quote suggests the tone of the book. So could you explain why?
I think it shows the tone because it shows that he's regretful, and it kind of explains that.
Yeah, he wants to he wishes that what Finney said was true. So what's the theme of A Separate Piece?
The theme is that friendship and its strengths will be tested during tough times.
So what's the author's purpose?
The author's purpose is to show that everyone goes through tough times, especially when a friendship is starting to tear apart.
So how does the author achieve this?
Well, this yet again shows how Finney got very upset when he found out that Jean pushed him out of the tree, and the acoustics emphasize this, and it emphasizes that it's the breaking point in their relationship.
Yeah, when Jean was held at trial from a few school friends, he put emphasis on the acoustics in the room because he remembered that moment because something bad was going to happen, so this is like foreshadowing. One connection to the theme that can be made is that people need to watch others and see who they really are deep down to their core, because if you don't, it can get a bit confusing. The global theme is that sometimes relationships can get a bit tricky because of stupid decisions people have made based on their emotions at the time. So what can you take away from this piece, you may ask? Well, teenagers can ask themselves if their friends are really who they say they are. You know, you don't want a two-faced friend. And humanity, for a beneficial relationship, you're going to have to be able to put your time in and be able to sacrifice willingly for that relationship and keep a strong bond with that person and communicate correctly. One connection that can be made to another text is in Harry Potter when Hermione and Ron are dating, and Harry Potter has a hard time accepting this fact, and he gets a little bit jealous and bases his decisions on his emotions.